Hey boys, welcome to the NinjaNamedJay channel, and another week, another episode of The Last of Us. Last week's episode, it was pretty decent, I enjoyed it, but boys, I'm just gonna tell you straight off the bat, this episode was fucking terrible. This episode fucking sucked. This might be my shortest review ever. Not just for The Last of Us, but for all of my videos. Because I don't really have much to say, because nothing really stood out to me, nothing really happened this episode. So, as always, I'll just quickly run through the plot, give my little interjections here and there. Then at the end of my plot summary, I'll go more into depth of my thoughts on the episode as a whole. So, the episode starts off with this talk with, I guess she's like the leader of the WLF, or someone very important, because she's the one who got Isaac, Jeffrey Wright, in the last episode to switch over. So yeah, she's talking to this other bitch, and the crux of the conversation is that the infection can also spread through spores, which I thought was already established in the show, but I did a little bit of reading. I guess it hadn't been established in the show, but it is of course a main point in the video game, so I guess I got confused a little. But yeah, their opening conversation was very fucking boring, and it was pretty long as well, and it was longer than most of the opening sequences from the show so far. Then we switch back to Ellie and Dina, and they're kind of just planning on what they're going to do next. Dina is sitting down, she's got this map, and she's trying to triangulate the movement of the WLF. See what they're doing. Remember, she has one of the walkie-talkies, so she's listening in on their conversation, seeing roughly where they are on the map. And yeah, she's telling Ellie all this. Ellie doesn't understand, she doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't like maths. At the end of their conversation, they both smile, and Bella Ramsey just does the goofiest fucking look of all time. I was fucking dying laughing. It was fucking so funny to me. Next, we have this really weird scene. Ellie finds this room, I guess, which is like a stage for bands or some shit. And yeah, she goes on stage, she picks up a guitar, tunes it, starts playing it a little, but then, she chokes. She stops playing, she gets choked up a little, she gets a little bit emotional. On her face, you can tell maybe she's going through some memories. Then Dina comes into the room and she's like, yo, I got a plan. So they go back to the war room, I guess. Dina starts explaining how, she's been listening to the radio and she finds like a blind spot. A spot that isn't too heavily guarded. It's this random building, but if they go through the building, they'll be able to infiltrate the WLF. But this has Ellie questioning, what's up with the building? Why aren't they heavily guarding, this part of the perimeter, I guess? And, they both come to the conclusion that it's probably full of infected. And Dina's like, this is a bit of a reckless plan. Ellie's basically like, we need to be reckless. We're going. So they start going, they're walking through Seattle, but then they see a bunch of fucking dead bodies, and their bodies are propped up against a wall, and on the wall there is a mural of their prophet, and it says, feel her love, but underneath it, some, I guess, WLF soldiers have tagged the words, feel this, bitch. But yeah, this just adds to the world building, and this also gives Ellie and Dina more of an idea of what the Seraphites are about. But upon seeing the bodies, this makes Dina very sick again. She doesn't like seeing dead bodies, gross stuff, And Ellie's like, oh, I shouldn't have taken you, I shouldn't have brung you. But Dina's like, no, we're going, we're still gonna go. And this leads onto a conversation about Dina's first kill, her first body. This had been a previous conversation, I think, 2 episodes ago. And, of course, 2 episodes ago, Dina didn't answer the question. But now she does. She goes into detail. She was living in, like, a cabin in Santa Fe. And her mother and sister were, like, getting killed by a marauder, She basically pumped that motherfucker full of lead. So, yeah, this was kind of a boring conversation. I don't care. I don't care about your first body, bitch. And that conversation leads on to another one about if Dina should go back once again. Like, you guys went over this topic, like, literally 2 minutes ago. This conversation, this dialogue, it was really giving soap opera vibes. It was so cheesy, it was so corny. Had this, like, very cheap sounding instrumental in the background that, it tried to pull at your heartstrings. And it just wasn't hitting. But yeah, Ellie's like, no, you're staying with me, I want you here with me. But yeah, after this, they wait for nightfall, and that's when they decide to infiltrate the building. They cut through this, like, fence, and they enter the building. And then they start talking, they're like, yo, there must not be a lot of fucking infected in here. If there were, they would have already tried to kill us. They would have heard us entering the building. And then we have a really fucking cringy line. There's this door that's being propped open a little, and Ellie, you know, she goes to peer inside, and Dina's like, you know, what does the place look like? And Ellie says, you know, it looks a little haunted, but empty. And then we have a fucking close-up of Dina, and she's like, oh, just like us. And she makes this like dupe face. It was so fucking cringe. Like, fuck off, cunt. Yeah, but anyway, then they decide to enter that door, and they're walking through the warehouse, you know, they're conversating. Then they enter the main room of the warehouse, and then they hear a noise, and they fucking duck for cover. So then they're like, what the fuck, you know, what's here? Maybe if it's just like a couple clickers, you know, we could take them out. It's nothing we haven't done before. Then they fucking peek over, and they see one of the smart ones, you know, one of the smart infected from the first episode, you know, one of those breeds. And they're like, oh, okay, what the fuck? Then they start, you know, devising a plan. Then they hear another noise. They look back. There's now another one. So there's two. You know, it's a 2v2 now. And then they hear another noise. Except it's not coming from in front of them. It's coming from behind them. And they look. And there's a fucking bunch of them now. And they're all just, you know, peering in the darkness, looking at them. It was kind of terrifying, I can't lie. One of my favorite movie scenes of all time is the start of Eyes Wide Shut. And it's the scene, you know, where Tom Cruise, he enters the meeting with all the bad people, you know, and everyone's looking at him. The scene kind of reminded me of that. Ellie and Dina, they're in a place, you know, they shouldn't be, and there's a bunch of fucking people looking at them, wanting to kill them. It just kind of reminded me of that, which I kind of liked. But yeah, anyway, Ellie and Dina, they're fucking surrounded. They're like, oh fuck, what do we do now? We're kind of fucked. Ellie sees like a gate that protects a bunch of electronics or some shit. And she's like, yo, Dina, you go fucking run over there. You lock yourself up. I'm gonna distract all of them. I can get bitten. I'm fine. I'll be fine. And Dina sprints to the fucking gate. Ellie tries to take out some of the fucking infected. She's shooting at them. But they all just fucking rush her. She's on the ground. They're all fucking attacking her. Dina's behind the gate. They're all trying to break through the wide fence. You know, they're fucked. They're gonna die. And I actually did think like, fuck, maybe they're gonna kill off Dina. You know, how are they gonna fucking escape? You know, Ellie's on the ground. She's getting fucked up by the infected. But then all of a sudden, bang, bang, bang! You know, those infected, they get shot. The other ones get shot as well. They were trying to attack Dina. You see a hand reach out to her. You're like, who could this be? Could this be maybe some of the WLF soldiers, maybe? Maybe some of the Seraphites? But as soon as I saw that hand, I'm like, okay, it's fucking Jesse, isn't it? And sure enough, it fucking was. Jesse comes out of fucking nowhere and saves the both of them. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, all this gunfire, it alerts the WLF, and they're like, yo, we need to get the fuck out of here. So they're running out of the building. The WLF, they're fucking shooting at them. No bullets hit them. They got fucking terrible aim. They see this forest of some sorts, you know, a little park. And they fucking run into it. And they're hiding. Then they notice the WLF soldiers, they don't want to come in here. They're all talking at the border of the park. And they're like, yo, we can't fucking go in there. You know, fuck that shit, we're not going. So yeah, now we have Ellie, Dina, and Jesse. And they all start talking. Jesse had followed them quickly after they left Jackson. And he was able to find them because he somehow found the building that they were staying in and found their plans. Like, sorry, that's kind of unfucking believable. Seattle's a pretty big city. How are you randomly gonna find the one building they were staying at? Like, that's pretty fucking bullshit. But yeah, they're talking, they're making their way through the forest, you know, through the park. And then they see a bunch of torches. So they start to hide and they see a bunch of the fucking Seraphites. And they got this WLF soldier. They're about to fucking execute him. And the dude, he's like, yo, I'll join your side. I'll join your side. And the executioner dude, he's like, nah, fuck that. You know, no switching. You know, we don't accept none of the ops on our side. So they start to fucking hang him. And then he has this, the sickle. He has a sickle. And he fucking cuts into the dude's fucking abdomen, pulls down, and all his guts come out. You know, he gets disemboweled. It was some pretty fucking sick shit. And, you know, Dina, she's like damn near throwing up. Then all of a sudden, she gets a fucking arrow to her thigh. And then the group, they're like, fuck, oh my god. This alerts all the Seraphites, and they start running towards him. Then Ellie says to Jesse, take Dina, I'm gonna fucking distract them. Get the fuck out of here. Ellie starts running off, starts firing her fucking gun. So the Seraphites come running after her. She trips. Then she sees like this big fucking tree. She goes and hides in it. The Seraphites come around. They're like, oh, we don't see anything. We're gonna fucking leave. So then they leave instead of searching the immediate area which she was last seen in for some reason. Like, I don't understand why they couldn't have investigated the area that she was last seen, but fuck it. But yeah, the Seraphites leave. Then Ellie, she makes her way back to the warehouse place, which I guess has become a base for the WLF. So she infiltrates this hospital, right? Then we see Nora. If you don't remember Nora, she was one of the Fireflies that was with Abby. She was the Blasian one. And Ellie finds her in the hospital, and she's like, hands up, bitch. Where the fuck is Abby at? You know, Nora, she's like, oh, I don't fucking know. I don't know where she's at. But, you know, basically, fuck you and fuck Joel. He deserved what he got. She fucking, you know, throws some water or some shit at Ellie, blinds her temporarily. She goes running through the hospital, yelling, save me, someone fucking help me, shoot this bitch. You know, Ellie's chasing her. Some of the, like, the WLF guards they're shooting, they don't hit shit. And they're running. Nora gets trapped in this dead end, essentially. Then she goes into this elevator shaft. Then the elevator fucking falls down, slams down into the basement, essentially. She gets out, she's still trying to escape Ellie. Ellie comes down, and they're both in the basement. The basement's like really red, it's really scary looking. It's got like a bunch of fucking people in there, but they're all like cling to the walls of the place. You know, they got the infection. No, I don't know how to explain it. You know, I'll put up visuals. They're fucked up and they're breathing out the spores of the cordyceps, you know? And Ellie's like, fuck. You know, ain't that some shit? And she's investigating the basement, and then she finds Nora. Nora's coughing. She's dying. She's got the infection, you know? The cordyceps, they're fucking her up. And Nora starts saying like, we're both gonna die, you're an idiot, why are we down here? You're gonna fucking die, bitch. But Ellie, you know, she's remaining cool, calm, and collected. Then Nora's like, you're the fucking immune girl. And then she starts saying how, like, Joel's evil, he killed the only guy that could save everyone. We're all gonna die now. Because Joel didn't let the doctor sacrifice you to find a fucking vaccine. Then Ellie's like, I already know that, bitch. Then she gets a fucking pipe and starts fucking hitting the fuck out of Nora. She's like, tell me where the fuck Abby's at. Then the episode ends with like a flashback of Joel. And that's it. That's the end of the episode. So yeah, a very fucking underwhelming episode. I mean, this shit fucking sucked. You know, I could barely fucking record. I didn't know what to say because nothing really fucking happened this episode. Nothing cool happened. Nothing remarkable. It was all just fucking slop. I think it was like the shortest episode as well. The intro flashback scene, that was way too long. Who cares? Then we get like 10 minutes of Ellie and Dina fucking around. We had that unnecessary scene with the with her up on stage. Then we had some more, you know, boring exposition with them walking through Seattle, Dina telling her about her first body. Like, who gives a fuck, really? I guess the second half of the episode wasn't too bad, with them being in that warehouse and all the infected and all the smart ones. And them getting chased by the WLF and then getting chased by the Seraphites. That was not too bad. I mean, it was just fucking really boring and uninteresting. Especially compared to the last episode, which had these really good visual cues, you know, all this good lighting, all this really good cinematography, as well as the introduction of Isaac, which I liked. We didn't see him this episode. We didn't really see anyone, which I think is a big shame, because he seems like a really interesting character, and I think there's only like 2 more episodes. How much more of Isaac are we gonna see? I want more Jeffrey Wright. I need to see him more in the series. I don't really have much to talk about this episode. I think this was 100% the worst episode of the series. Like, this shit fucking sucked. And I feel like my plot summary reflects how bad the episode was, because this fucking video sucks. You know, it says a bad review in the title for a fucking reason. I recorded half the audio yesterday. I couldn't fucking finish it. I couldn't bear to finish it. It was so boring. I didn't know what to fucking say because nothing happened this episode. Nothing cool happened. Usually I make notes and shit, and these notes will be like 20, 25 points long. I think I've only got like 8 or so points that I wanted to talk about for the episode. Like, what the fuck? After the end of the last episode, I had some hope that the series would finish out strong. But now I'm like, fuck. You know, 2 more episodes. What the fuck are they gonna do? I guess we're gonna see Ellie track down the rest of the Fireflies and kill them. You know, we got Jesse now. He mentioned Tommy was in Seattle, so we're probably gonna see him now. But fuck, man, this episode sucked. I'm sorry, boys. This video sucks as well. But I don't have much material to work with. You know, cut me some slack, boys. Let's just hope the next episode is better. Before I end the video, I want to thank you guys for all the love for my last video. I think it's sitting at like 1,300 views, my most viewed video. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I love you guys. I'm working on other videos on the side as always. You know, I'm putting in some fucking work, boys. Trust me, trust me. That's all I've got to say. This episode fucking sucked. I'll see you guys next week. Hopefully it doesn't suck as bad. You know, I'm hoping it's good. But yeah, that's all I've got to say. Peace. Love you guys.